Okay, so welcome everybody to tonight's Psychic Circle. So today we're actually talking about the art of channeling. So when we talk about channeling, I think there's a lot of misconceptions and there's a lot of myths and like fiction surrounding the whole idea of channeling as well. Okay, so today I decided to talk about channeling because in the past 6 months or so, I've received a lot of questions about sort of channeling or a lot of statements and need for clarification. So I thought it might be an interesting topic to address in Psychic Circle tonight. Okay, so what exactly is channeling? Okay, so this is one of the most like scientific like explanation, and it's actually from this book called The Science of Channeling. So it says that channeling is the process of revealing information and energy, not limited by our conventional notions of space and time that can appear receptive or expressive. Okay, so it sounds really like complicated and convoluted, and in Singapore, in Singlish, you say it's very cheap, right? But in reality, what this is basically saying is that channeling is a process of being able to either get messages or to direct energy through you without while disregarding like space and time. So for example, when I do distant or remote healing where I'm able to access or give energy to somebody over Zoom, or even like give a healing to my client in the US or in Europe, that actually requires me to channel energy. Okay, now this I feel is maybe an easier like way to understand like channeling. So at Ermi Psychic is my IG handle. So if you're interested, you can actually add me. So channeling, I feel, is about becoming a receptive like vessel for not just energy and messages, but actually also the power of higher entities. So why do I say that? Is because in when I first actually came into contact with all this like psychic and like metaphysical sort of like work, there was a workshop that I did whereby we were required to work with like angels, and in that particular workshop we were actually asked to channel the energy of angels, and not just like channel their energy and messages, but really to literally allow the angels into our bodies. Okay, just take note that this was happening within a very safe space, because the teacher who was a psychic that started teaching this, unfortunately she has really passed away now, is really powerful, and she held the space very well and strong. So there was no danger at all, even for like beginners. Okay, so now let's just talk a little bit about some of the common conceptions about channeling. Okay, so now that we understand that channeling is literally becoming like a conduit or a vessel like for energy and messages, it means that we have to be clear enough to allow energy to pass through us, and or to bring energies into our body so that we can direct them somewhere else, as in the process of like healing, or to allow like a connection with our guides, in order to bring in like messages or connection with like the universe as well. Okay, so the first one is something that I get like a lot, especially after some clients who have done their psychic ability analysis with me, and if channeling is listed as one of their like abilities, and it is a fairly common ability, the first thing that people always ask me is whether channeling energy will weaken their energy or weaken their energy field, and lead to potential psychic attack. So there are concerns about channeling energy, causing their energy field to become weakened so that they are not protected enough, or their energy protection shield to be like weakened because of channeling energies and all. So this is untrue. Okay, this is false. This is a fiction. Okay, because technically, if you are channeling a large volume of energy, you will not be able to receive negative energy at the same time. Okay, it is very similar to if you are pouring water into a cup and you have filled the whole cup up with like water. It's very difficult to displace the water unless of some intervening sort of like circumstances. Okay, so if you're sort of like light that you're channeling is strong like enough, there is no sort of like issue of being not protected or being psychically attacked. Okay, usually what causes lack of protection or a weakened protective shield or the attraction of like psychic attack is more surfacing negative energy or accumulated stress and negative energy within yourself than anything else. Okay, so if you are able to clear your energy regularly through channeling energy through you, then this is not an issue at all. So channeling leading to not being protected and potential psychic attack is a fiction. Okay. Now, the second thing which I always get asked, and this happens a lot with people who are not just interested in using the channeling abilities for their own sort of self-healing, but are interested in becoming healers and psychics like as well. Okay, so I'm often asked if when they channel, are they actually draining their life energy, and if it will lead to a shortening of their life. Okay. Now, here I have to qualify that this is a fairly old school thought. Okay. So if you go to some very old psychics or mediums or healers, this was what they have been taught when they first learned healing. Okay. And pre 2012, this can sometimes really be true because it was not so easy to assess the energies of the sort of universe. And because actually post 2012, I would say that the interdimensional like separation has thinned. Okay, so because of that, we are now more easily able to assess energies from the universe outside of ourselves and our immediate surroundings, as well as other sort of like dimensions. Okay, so if you've heard or read about not of evolving from third dimensional to from being a third dimensional being to fourth dimensional or fifth dimensional beings, this is because it is now easier for us to assess and evolve energies from a different dimension. Okay, now so back to old school versus like new school sort of like healers. Okay, so in old school like healers, a lot of times they are taught that they need to sort of like save the people that they're healing. So this whole idea of saving the people that are healing requires almost an exchange of energy, and it puts so much burden and responsibility onto the healer that they end up exchanging sometimes their life force in order to save the other person. Okay, so if you are doing that, I guarantee that of course you're going to be draining your life energy, and of course your life will be shortened, right? Because you have less energy to function and deal with yourself. Okay. However, if you were channeling healing energy, okay, and if you are in a state whereby your ego does not dictate that you have to save the other person, and then this absolutely would not happen. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Right now, we always practice self-responsibility. So all healers and psychics are here to facilitate your healing journey, not to create a miracle for you. The miracle creator is you. And we as psychics and healers are only here to give you a boost, facilitate like that process, and to guide you in that process. Okay, but by no means do you mistake that we are the creator of miracles. Okay, and healers and psychics ourselves need to like work with our ego so that we do not mistakenly think that we are the savior of the people that we heal, and then create like a god complex for ourselves, which is what usually lead to the draining of life energy and the shortening of your own life. Okay, now, so again, when I channel, I'm draining my life energy and will shorten my life. Fiction. Okay, now some people tend to absorb negative energy really sort of like quickly. Okay, so this has more to do with the type of energy body that you have and the quality of your energy, and also linked to your psychic abilities than with the process of channeling. Okay, so some people's energies are really just like sponge. They absorb all the energy around them, and if their mindset tends to be trying to save the people around them, then they will absorb more negative energy than positive energy. Okay, now, so the third statement is something that I often also like come across because of this like concept about absorbing negative energy from the surrounding, is that people feel like that they would take on negative energy of the people that they heal. Okay. Now, this is actually again untrue, because you only take on the negative energy of the person you heal if you are overly emotionally attached to the whole process. Okay, so for example, if you have a strong desire for a particular outcome, and you feel that you really want to make sure that this person is healed by your hand, and you start to take on the burden and responsibility of this person, then yes, at the same time, you'll also take on the negative light energy. Okay. However, if you're purely channeling energy to heal the person and aware that the outcome depends more on the receptiveness of the person you are healing than on your like proficiency or reputation like as a healer. Of course, this is given that you are doing everything the right like way and to the best of like your ability. Okay, then you should not actually be taking on the negative energy of the person. Okay, so you only take on the negative energy of the person when there is an ego, or like there is a attraction of towards the negative energy of the person. So in normal circumstances, when you channel, taking on the negative energy of the person that you heal, that's again a fiction. Okay. Now, next, okay. So the previous three statements were more about maybe channeling sort of like energy and healing energy. Okay. These next three statements are more about people when they feel like they are channeling messages, especially messages from guides, or they are actually channeling entities. Okay. So the first statement is, I may get possessed and lose control of my body. Okay, now this, not to scare anybody, is a possibility. Okay, because there are certain sort of like conditions that is necessary to establish before you start channeling entities. Okay, I would say that channeling energies are pretty safe, but when it comes to channeling entities, there are a few conditions that need to be ascertained before you start channeling the entity. Okay, so first of all, you have to make sure that your physical and your energy and your emotional body is in a space that is clear and also clear and without sort of like attachments. Okay, if you are in a very, very sort of like negative state, or for example, if you're in a state of depression, then ideally you should not be trying to channel any entities at all. Because even if your guides and guardian angels are around you, they cannot be channeled by you into like your body. Okay, because there is too huge a discrepancy between your physical, emotional, and energetic state versus their much higher, lighter vibrational frequency. Okay. Second, when you are in a very negative state, you are more likely to attract negative entities than anything else. Okay. So therefore, if you see if you observe, let's say like mediums or like healers who actually channel entities, they tend to have some kind of a ritual that they have to go through in order to sort of like cleanse like themselves, so that they are channeling, they are able to channel only positive like entities. Okay. So some examples like of this are, for example, in ancient sort of like Egypt, the high priestesses of the various sort of like gods and goddesses of Egypt are known to be able to channel like the gods and goddesses. Okay. However, they have to go through an extensive like ritual of cleansing before they embark on that ritual and embark on like channeling like the god or goddesses. But even when they do that, there is a whole host of people that is holding the space for them. Okay, which brings me to the next part. If you are channeling entities, you need to have either the ability to hold the space on your own strongly, or you need somebody else to hold the space like for you. Okay. Of course, if you don't actually have a person that can do that for you, and you fear that your own energy is not strong enough, then you can also use things, for example, like grids. So for example, crystal grids can actually help to hold the energy of the space so that you can channel the entities that you want. Okay. Post 2012, we no longer practice channeling of entities in a way whereby we allow the entities to sort of like enter like our body. Okay, because right now our energetic states have changed in vibrational frequency. So we are now of a lighter vibrational frequency, which allows us to communicate with the entities and to channel the entities without losing control of like our body. Okay. Pre 2012, most people who channel entities tend to become they lose their consciousness during the process. So for example, I'm not sure how many of you actually know of this being called Seth, as actually being channeled by this particular sort of like medium, and there's a ton of like books about it. So when the medium is channeling Seth, they're actually not conscious at all. Okay. Second, a real life example, one of like my friends in Hong Kong actually channels Archangel Michael, and this was pre 2012. So when she actually sort of like channels like the Archangel, she is not present. So if you observe the process, when she actually channels the Archangel Michael, her whole persona, being, and energy, voice, even like her face change, undergoes sort of like changes. Okay. And when she actually comes out from the trance, she has no idea what has been said unless like she listens back to like recordings. Okay. So this is a very common like form of channeling of entities pre 2012. Okay. So in a way, yes, it's kind of like possession and losing control of a body. But if it is a positive entity, it is temporary. Okay, because the entity is just here to do healing or to give some message, convey some message, and then they're out of there. Okay. However, that process is harmful for the healer themselves or the medium themselves, because their physical body is not able to take the very high vibrational frequency of the guides, spirit guides or angels that they're channeling. So over time, my friend actually developed health issues. Okay. Now, so through this statement, I may get possessed and lose control of my body. I would say it's kind of possible. It's not fiction entirely, but it's also not a fact if you were to take all like the precautions. Okay. If you are able to increase your own vibrational frequency, then you can actually channel entities without losing control of your body and without getting like possessed. Okay. But this is a skill that you have learned, of course. Okay, next statement. Am I psychotic or schizophrenic, or am I channeling? Okay, so this is a very common question that I like get. Okay, so because sometimes when people are channeling messages, especially, they may hear the messages and they hear the messages in a particular voice. Okay, so but at the same time, they feel like it could be a voice in their head, or it could be a hallucination, or they feel like, are they having a psychotic episode? Okay. So for people who experience sudden bouts of channeling of messages, especially if the messages are really intense, or if the messages are not always positive. For example, people who channel premonition and messages, or channel sort of like messages that are tending towards the more disastrous like messages rather than positive like messages, very often worry whether they are psychotic, or schizophrenic, or have some other psychological issue, or are they really channeling? Okay, so if you are channeling, you should not be having hallucinations. Okay, so if you're having hallucinations, there is a big possibility that you may be experiencing a psychological or psychotic episode. Okay, if you are channeling messages, first of all, note the energy of like the message. Okay, if the energy of the message that is being given is very neutral, or feels warm, or feels like a compassionate message, then the chances are you are actually channeling. Okay. If the messages are extremely scary, or like threatening, okay, or are related to uh or are related to certain things that, or certain habits you have, or certain things that you have been doing, then it might warrant investigation, because if your own original energetic state is very negative, or if you have had some kind of a karmic like issue, there is also a possibility that you are channeling, except that you are channeling a negative entity. Okay. So, however, if you're very clear that you're very well protected and your energy is like good and clear, then you may want to investigate your own psychological and mental health. Okay. However, not all visions are hallucinations. So please like take note. So for example, if you actually see like a vision of something that you want to create, or something that you want to do, it should not be classified as a hallucination. Okay. So next, channeling can make me crazy. I can't tell what is real anymore. Okay. So this is definitely a fiction, because if you're channeling properly, it should not be making you crazy. Proper channeling, where you are bringing energy consistently through you and bring only sort of like positive energy through you, should have the effect of clearing your mind and helping you to gain more clarity. Okay, so if you're not actually having more clarity, then something might be wrong with the whole process of channeling like for you. So you may not be channeling the energy properly, or you may be actually having some sort of like energetic block or issue within your own like energy system. Okay. When somebody is channeling, their consciousness is objective enough to still be able to tell what is reality and what is messages or visions that they're channeling, but also able to see how they can bridge that link. How can you link the vision or the messages that you're channeling into sort of like reality? It might not be immediately obvious, but over time you should be able to see it. And by over time, I don't mean like a year or 2 years, but like really soon, like over like the next hour, or when you meditate on it, you will be able to see how whatever you have been channeling is able to link to your life, real life. Okay. So that's all the things that a lot of misconceptions about like channeling, with which I hope I've addressed adequately. If you have more questions about channeling, please type it in the box, in the chat box, or you can ask me directly later. Okay. So many people ask, what can you actually sort of like channel? Okay. So first and foremost, of course, you can channel energy. So especially sort of like healing like energy. Okay. Second is, of course, you can channel messages from the universe. Okay. So messages from the universe also includes messages from your spirit guides, from your guardian angels, from like angels or the intergalactic beings, from beings from other dimensions. Okay. So whatever your energy is aligned with and what you are open and receptive to, you will be able to sort of like channel. Okay. You should also be able to channel entities. Okay. Here, take note that I did not write entities in the positive or negative light aspect, because if you can channel, you will be able to channel both positive and negative entities depending on the quality of your own energy and your own energetic lineage. Okay. So what do I mean by this? Okay. If in your energy like lineage you have many past lives, or you have an ancestral linkage, or energetic like karmic like links to darker entities, for example, like demons, or even like darker shadow energies and all, then you will very possibly be able to channel those entities in addition to the positive entities. If you prefer things that are sort of like more shadowy and darker, you may even be able to exclusively channel only shadow entities. Okay. You can also channel actually messages and communication with departed like loved ones. So this is actually the ability of a medium like as well, which is that you're able to communicate with loved ones that have departed. However, there are a few conditions again that needs to be in place. First of all, communicating with departed loved ones is very similar to making a phone call to like a friend. Okay, your friend can also choose to not take your call. Okay, so if your friend chooses not to take your call, or for example, your departed loved ones chooses not to communicate with you, then you need to give them time and not try to force the communication. Okay. Now, however, there have also been cases whereby, because the loved ones have departed like for a really, really long time, we're talking about decades, it is hard to establish like connection like with them. So in those cases, it might not be so easy to communicate or channel messages like from them. Okay. Now, so what are some examples of channeling which you all might be familiar with? Okay. So we channel when we do any divination work. Okay, so whether you're reading tarot cards, or you are using like oracle cards to do divination work, if you're using like runes, or you're reading somebody's like energy, or you're doing any kind of like pendulum work or whatever, you will be either channeling messages or energy. Okay. Whenever you use your psychic abilities, you will also be actually doing some form of like channeling. Okay, so for example, when if you're activating your clairsentience, which is the ability to feel energies, you are actually also channeling energies at the same time, putting up feelers in order to feel the energies. Okay. Anytime you do healing or therapeutic work, it will also be like channeling. So for example, I do energy healing. So what I basically do is to bring energy through myself, direct it out through like my hands and energy field, and then infuse it or pump it into my client who is lying on the massage like table. And then I will just watch the energies of circulate through them, pump in more energy if necessary, extract like negative energy, or help to clear blockages and stuff. So these are all sort of this kind of energy healing is actually part of like channeling as well. Okay, or rather you need to be able to channel in order to do effective healing and therapeutic work. Okay. Automatic writing is a form of channeling as well. So for example, like when you have cleared your mind and you start sort of like writing your emotions or your visions or something, or you start writing, ask for messages, and you start writing out the messages from the guides, that's automatic like writing. Okay. One example of like channeling which everybody can do is when you're focusing on creating something. So for example, when you have an idea come into your head or a vision come into your head, and you have a sudden burst of like inspiration, and you suddenly like grab a piece of paper or your like iPad or whatever, and like start like taking like down notes about what is it that you want to create, you are actually most likely channeling information from the universe or messages from the universe that is directing you to create something that could be beneficial to yourself or to the world. Okay. Mediums are a very effective like example of like channeling, because mediums allow entities to enter their body, and they actually then you're actually able to communicate with them, and of course, like the other thing would be that mediums also can sometimes channel just messages and not just like entities. Okay, so all these are examples of like channeling. Okay. So now that we've like spoken all about like channeling, let's try a channeling exercise. So today I've prepared 4 channeling exercises. Okay, please do them according to your own comfort level. Feel free to sit it out and not do anything if you don't want to. Okay, if you want to try it, just be very assured that I'm holding the space for each and every one like of you, so there is not going to be any sort of like major issue if you try like this like exercises. Okay. Now when I sort of like start the exercise, just take it as if you're doing like a meditation. Okay, so let's try this first exercise of channeling energy through you. Okay, so if you want to, you can close your eyes and just sit comfortably. Okay. Now just roll your shoulders back and open up your shoulders. Okay, we do this so that we can open up the thymus and the higher heart chakra, which helps with the receiving of like energy. Now you can plant your feet firmly on the ground. If you're seated on the ground, then just make sure that the seat of your buttocks is planted firmly on the ground as well. And now just relax and allow yourself to feel comfortable. And now just inhale deeply. And as you inhale, just imagine you're breathing in light from the sun. Exhale and relax. And now the deep inhalation, Breathing in light from the sun, and feel that light following your breath and streaming through your entire body. Exhale and relax. Now the deep inhalation, breathing in light from the sun. Feel it streaming through your entire body. Exhale and relax. And now the deep inhalation. Let the light follow the breath and stream in through your body to your fingers and your toes. And then exhale and relax. Final deep inhalation, breathing in light, streaming through your body. Now just slowly exhale and relax. And now just slowly open your eyes and just feel if there's any difference in your physical body like now. For those of you who are doing this for the first time, you may feel some heat or some cold as you do this sort of like energy exercise. Okay, that's very normal. Okay, because when you channel energies through you, there usually is some sort of like reaction. Common reactions include feeling heat, feeling cold. Also, people sometimes feel a buzz and a tingle. Okay. Some people feel like their head or a particular part of their physical body clearing any blockages. Okay. So those are all very like normal like reactions. If you have an unusual reaction during the exercise just now, please let me know. Okay. So that's a channeling energy exercise. Now let's go to the next exercise. Okay, so next exercise, let's try to channel messages. Okay, so if you have a piece of paper and pen or your mobile phone notes, that's okay. It's optional whether you want to write it down or not. Because you might be channeling a very simple message instead of like the whole essay. So it's fine if you don't want to write it down. Okay, so no need to scramble and like get like a piece of paper and pen if you don't already have it. So once again, just sit comfortably and close your eyes. And now just observe your breath, breathing in and out relaxedly. And now bring your observation to your thoughts. You'll find that your thoughts come and go. Could be extremely random thoughts. Just allow the thoughts to surface and fall away. Set the intention not to attach to any of the thoughts. Just let them come and go. Come and go. And now, ask for a message for yourself from the universe. Or if you have a question that's been on your mind lately, bothering you a lot, ask the universe now for an answer to your question. You don't have to say it out loud. You can just think it in the head. But it's good if you say, universe or guardian angels and guides, please give me a message about, and then whatever it is that you want the message to be about. Now observe what comes into your mind. Release all expectations about how the message must come to you. Just open and allow. It may come as a word, an image. You may hear some sounds. Maybe it comes as a series of numbers even. Whatever comes into your mind, once you've asked for a message from the universe, do not doubt it, just accept it, and then you can figure out the significance of the answer later. If you find it's difficult to focus, the key is not to focus. Okay, just let the thoughts come and go, come and go. Your thoughts will resemble the waves on the beach. Wave coming in, going out, coming in, going out. Very much like the waves in the background of my Zoom. So just let it be. Don't attach to it. Don't judge yourself if your mind is going everywhere. Just let your mind flow. And now ask for the message that you want or the answer to the question that is bothering you. And observe what comes into your mind. If the answer is not obvious, just note it down. And we can interpret it later. Okay? And then now when you're ready, just thank the universe or your guardian angels, guides, for any message or for the whole process or for the answer that they've given you. And then just revoke access to all negative energies and entities. And open your eyes. If you're feeling a little bit floaty after the 2 exercises, it's a good idea to ground yourself. So how do you ground yourself? Just imagine yourself as a large tree growing roots deep, deep, deep into the ground. That's a very easy way to ground. Or you can visualize your root chakra connected to the core of the earth with an energy core. So if you're feeling floaty or not really able to focus, please do that. Next, okay, so this is a channeling exercise to be a medium. Okay, this is for communication with a departed loved one. If you're uncomfortable with doing this, you can sit this out. Okay, but if there is a departed loved one that you would like to communicate with, you can. I will take you through this exercise like now. Okay, so just sit comfortably and close your eyes. And just let me send some energy so that I can establish a safe space for everybody to do this exercise. Okay, now let's begin. So just set the intention, who it is that you would like to communicate with. And now just see yourself in a bubble of light. And this bubble of light is a warm pink color. The pink is not glaring, it's not bright, but it is the color of warmth and love. Now in this bubble of light, just bring up the image of your departed loved one that you would like to communicate with now. Ask your guardian angels and guides and the universe for help if you require more energy to establish the communication. Give it a while. And now, just see the image of your departed loved one floating in front of you, or standing in front of you, or even seated. You'll find that they may not look the same as when you last saw them, but they may come back in their best form, for example, when they're in the prime of their life and health. And now just see the energy from the pink bubble of light around you, reaching out and connecting with the energy of your departed loved one. And now you may ask the questions that you have, or if you do not have any questions, you may simply say what you need to say to your dearly departed. Take your time. If for whatever reason you're unsure if this is your departed loved one, you may ask the being, "Are you?" and say the name of your departed loved one. And say, "Are you so and so?" coming with the highest and purest light. And then wait for an answer. It should be a straightforward yes or a hint of a yes. Then ask the same question, "Are you so and so?" coming with the highest and purest light. Wait for another yes. And then a final time, "Are you so and so?" coming with the highest and purest light. And you should get a third yes if it is indeed your dearly departed loved one. For whatever reason, if you're uncertain or unsure, feel free to just say goodbye to the being and send them away by just saying, "Please go," if you're not comfortable with the interaction for whatever reason. So once you're finished communicating and saying what you need to say to your dearly departed loved one, just see the energy of the pink bubble becoming whole again. So the energy that you have reached out and connected to the departed loved one is now retracted back into the pink bubble of light around you. And now just sit and ground yourself, growing roots deep into the ground. And slowly allow your consciousness back into your physical body, into the room where you started this process. It is very common to feel emotional when you're doing this. If you feel like crying or writing down your emotions, please do. It is a healthy process. This is especially useful for people who have not been able to properly process their grief. Now, okay. So originally, I've had like a channeling exercise for guides. So let's quickly do that. It should be quite interesting. Okay. So this is to feel the energy of your guardian angel, spirit animal of guide. So if you feel uncomfortable, once again, you can also sit this out. So we do this really quickly. Okay, so now just once again, just close your eyes. And this time around, see yourself in a golden light. So this is a bubble around you, and the bubble is filled with golden light, and you are sitting right in the middle of this bubble. And now just call out to your guardian angels, your spirit guides, and your animal guides, whoever is willing to communicate with you and give you messages today. For some of you who have stronger psychic abilities, you may feel the energies coming in and be able to see your guardian angels, spirit guides, or animal guides very clearly. For those who are not as psychic or whose psychic abilities are just beginning to surface, you may find that you are feeling a stronger burst of energy. There may be words popping into your head, or phrases, or numbers, etc. So just be open and allow yourself to accept it. If you feel any part of your body feeling heavier, it could be because there is a particular energy blockage, and as we raise the energy vibration for you through connecting or channeling like your guides, you will feel the blockages in your physical body more keenly. Okay. And now, in the interest of time, you will have to temporarily say goodbye to your guides like for now, but just know that they are always there around you, and they're always there willing to help you, to guide you, to give you messages, and to protect you. You just need to learn to call on them more regularly. And now, just allow your consciousness to come back into your physical body and feel the golden light fading out around you until you're totally connected to the physical reality and the room in which you started this process. Again, if you're feeling a little bit floaty, hazy, or some people may even feel like physical discomfort, it could be because you have experienced a huge bout of energy and you're not feeling used to this sense of not being grounded. So once again, just imagine yourself as a tree growing deep roots into the ground. Grow them deep, deep, deep into the ground and spread them far and wide. Okay. And so we come to the end of the exercises of channeling the guides. Okay, so if you're interested, we will be posting today's session in about 2 or 3 days time on the YouTube channel. Okay. And otherwise, you can actually follow me on Psychic or follow my center at ADL Holistic. Okay, so thank you very much. So we've come to the end of the presentation.